I didn't do the No Kings protest because I don't think there's nothing wrong with a king. It's not anything wrong with a king. What's wrong is the person who y'all is protesting because it seemed like y'all don't want him as the king. But having, to me, a king has been is very different from what people see a king as. And I think because people see a perspective on a king in a European point of view, and they are rejecting Europeans' version of a king. See, in the Egyptian version of a king, it was a chosen God. So a king is anything worshiped and sacrificed for. We chose who we worshiped and sacrificed and offered to, because it's offerings too. Offering is something given. A sacrifice is something given up. So we chose that. But the European version, and then when we chose that, if you look in the records, if you look at the Egyptian historical records, sometimes the king would choose not to be the king, and it was it was a great society. It was heaven of heavens, you know what I mean? But the people were chosen gods. The people are chosen gods, because some of us are still here. The people are chosen gods. The European version of a king, most of those, after a time, I'm sure, I know actually, I don't know why I'm saying I'm sure, were into the satanic. So those were Satanists. And then when the Catholicism came up, that was Satanism masquerading as a religion, as something else. And all the original saints were Satanists. And some of the not so original saints were Satanists. Now, in those times, not in those times, in every time since then, their version of a king is God's chosen. God could be the most nasty, evil piece of shit on and ever, because their God is the devil, which means they do a lot of nasty, evil stuff to people. And when they do all that nasty, evil stuff, people have to do what they say anyway. That's their version of a king. They do a lot of evil and nasty things, and people do what they say anyway. So I believe that's being rejected. Thank you. And because people are rejecting that version of a king, that's why they're saying no kings. Because a king is nothing wrong with a king. So I didn't do, like I said, I didn't do the protest because I don't think there's anything wrong with a king. But I do think it's something wrong with an evil, satanic person. And so I think people are rejecting that. And it should be rejected like that. It shouldn't be rejected and put into kingship. So that's why I didn't do the protest. The No Kings protest, it wasn't anything that I would participate in for that reason. Although I was kind of looking for things to see what people were doing. And if I wanted to join a protest and that kind of thing. And that's the only message right now. Because I was thinking about a pharaoh. A pharaoh is the people's chosen God. People think that's a king. But the pharaoh is the people's collective, society's chosen gods. And the king is a king. And a king is a chosen God. So the king is one of the chosen gods. But the pharaoh is all of the people's collective chosen gods individually. All the people's Hashems. Because Hashems are the individual chosen gods of the people. So Yahweh is the evolutionary gods. Hashem is the chosen gods of each individual. The Pharaoh is the chosen gods of all the people in the nation, individually together. So it's all the Hashems together. And the king, which is different from the Pharaoh, I believe it's called the Malak, is the king, is the people's chosen God as person, in, specifically. And that's what I wanted to say. And hi.